What's up, witches?
Hi, I'm Claudia.
And I'm Jess.
And welcome to True Crime Coven. Hey Jess, how are you?
Hi Claudia, I am okay, a little bit tired.
I am okay.
I am okay. I've been doing some overtime at work and I'm just tired.
Oh, Bubba.
I know.
Oh. Well, I'm also bloody knackered because Karen, my cat, woke me up at like 3. Well, I don't know what time it was, but like I want to say it felt like 3. Chasing a mouse, which I then rescued and put outside. So it's definitely going to come back in. I mean, I was in my night dress. Like, yes, I wear a night dress sometimes.
Nothing wrong with a night dress.
Oh, they're so comfy.
Freeing.
Basically, Karen woke me up at 3 a.m. I had to get up at 5, and then I had a fun but tiring training day. So that's me. That's my rant.
Nice. Very nice. Yeah, I was up late last night because I was watching the Cheerleading Worlds. I'm sure you're watching it too.
Yeah, I keep up to date with all that.
Yeah.
I don't think if anyone actually realises that you're a cheerleader.
No. I feel like if you look at me, you're not like, oh, she's a cheerleader, which is good. So yeah, I've been watching that because today is like the Team England, Scotland, Ireland, Wales.
Okay.
So yeah,
That's
Team
cool.
England juniors and youth won. That's nice.
Ah.
And currently Team England hip hop is in second place.
I didn't know there was a hip hop category.
Yeah. So there's cheer, hip hop, pom and jazz.
Pom,
like pom-poms.
I know, but just pom, like
Pom-pom, yeah.
Well-
Scotland are the best at pom.
Are they? Yeah, which is quite funny because you'd think English, poms.
But yeah.
Anyway.
So off on a random tangent now.
Yeah, so anyway, we're both feeling bloody knackered. Today I wanted to talk to you about the case of Nicola Furlong. Are you aware of Nicola?
No, name does not ring a bell.
No, so didn't for me either. Someone I stumbled upon again. It's going to be a tough one today, I think. It's a relatively short case.
Okay.
But the trigger warnings are rape and sexual assault.
Oh, okay.
So those are never nice. I mean, no trigger warnings are nice, but
No.
those are never nice ones to have to say. So if these are things that you feel you can't listen to today, my heart goes out to you, but look after yourself and hopefully we'll see you next week. So Nicola Furlong was born in a small town in Wexford, Ireland, on December 17th, 1990, to parents Andrew and Angela Furlong. She was the eldest child with 2 younger sisters named Andrea and Hannah. She would grow up to attend Dublin City University to study international business. This was a 4-year-long degree that involves students spending some time learning abroad. I mean, international business.
Yeah.
And so it was during her 3rd year in 2011 that Nicola embarked on her adventure to Japan to study at the Takasaki City University of Economics. She fell in love with Japan and made many friends during her time there. I really want to visit Japan, to be fair.
Yeah, same.
I feel like Japan is somewhere you would fall in love with just from the pictures I've seen.
Yeah.
Fox Island.
Yes. I really want to go. And sounds like she was quite a friendly, happy person. Like if she's making loads of friends.
Yeah, and
she goes.
This must have been such a dream trip for her.
Yeah.
Of all the places you can go and study business, I feel like a lot of people may have gone to China
or
America.
But to get to go to Japan,
yeah, definitely.
Amazing.
Very interesting.
Yeah. She sounds like she was quite an intelligent person as well. Like that doesn't sound like an easy course. Like no university course is easy, but
4 years.
4 years is
time.
quite intense. And to study abroad as well in a country where you don't speak the language.
Yeah. And so despite enjoying her time there, Nicola was looking forward to returning home to her loving family in July 2012. However, sadly, this was never to be. On May 23rd, 2012, Nicola was practically giddy with excitement as she got ready for a Nicki Minaj concert in Tokyo that she was attending that night along with her friend Sarah, who was also an Irish exchange student. But the 2 women must have gotten carried away as they ended up missing their train home after the gig. I mean, yeah, you're having a good time. It was then at the train station that they met 2 American men, 19-year-old musician Richard Hines and his friend James Blaxton, a 23-year-old dancer. Hines and Blaxton asked Nicola and Sarah if they wanted to go back to their hotel room to have a few drinks, but they declined. Good.
Yeah, safe.
And the group decided instead to go to a nearby bar for a few drinks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely the safer option.
Yeah.
The next morning, on the 23rd of May 2012, A guest at Kyo Plaza Hotel in Tokyo Shinjuku Ward complained about a noise coming from a nearby room. When an employee went to investigate, they walked in to find Nicola Furlong's lifeless body. The 21-year-old woman had been strangled.
Wow.
Nicola was rushed to Tokyo Medical University Hospital, arriving at 3:53 a.m. Medics had tried to perform CPR using a heart massage, chest compressions, and injecting her with adrenaline, and even intubating her in a last effort to save her life. But unfortunately, this was all unsuccessful, and Nicola Furlong was pronounced dead just 5 minutes later.
That's so sad.
And now, I've not worked in A&E for the longest time. I've only been there 5 months, but I've never seen a heart massage. And I don't know how often adrenaline is actually used.
Oh, okay.
I mean, someone could be listening to this and could be like, no, it's used all the time.
Okay.
I've personally not seen it.
Yeah.
Hines and Blaxton were soon arrested, with Hines being charged with the murder of Nicola Furlong, whilst Blaxton was charged with sexual assault against Sarah, Nicola's friend. Both men claimed they were innocent, with the defence arguing that drugs and alcohol had caused Nicola's death. I mean, drugs and alcohol don't strangle you.
No. I
Just
also
putting that out
feel
there.
like, obviously not a medical examiner or someone who does postmortems, but I feel like you can tell the difference between someone being strangled and someone ODing quite easily just by looking at them.
Well, also,
Because of like bruising and everything. And
yeah, it's completely different presentations.
Yeah.
Asphyxiation, sure.
Maybe, yeah.
So, yeah, maybe you wouldn't be able to tell someone who's smothered versus someone who's
Yeah.
asphyxiated until you do a proper postmortem.
Yeah.
But strangulation?
Yeah.
That's a very different presentation.
Yeah. You're going to get the bruising and everything. And normally people being strangled fight.
You get defensive marks.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Hines did admit to pressing Nicola's neck, but stated that he did it so lightly that there was simply no way that it could have caused her death. The two men continued the narratives that Nicola and her friend Sarah were promiscuous party girls who had come on to the men. And side note, there is absolutely nothing wrong with even being promiscuous party girls. If you're, no matter what age you are, but if you're 21 years old especially,
Yeah.
an exchange student on a night out, and you want to be a promiscuous party girl, go for it.
Yeah, you do
That-
you.
That is never going to be an excuse for anything bad to happen to you. And do
No.
not let anyone feed into that narrative, because that
If you're
makes me
there-
angry.
yeah, if you're there to have a good time, you do you.
Also, these guys, are they not being promiscuous party guys?
Yeah. Stop victim blaming.
And stop slut shaming.
Yes.
Anyway, the men insisted that they had not been sexually attracted to the young women, but had just invited them out for a drink to be kind, you know,
Oh,
like
nice.
men always do.
Yeah, like
I've
we
always-
need the petty, like, oh yeah, we're just doing this because no one else will.
Yeah, like, sorry, but a man has never... Maybe men in my past are going to be like, no, I just felt sorry for you. But to my knowledge, men have never wanted to invite me out for a drink to be kind.
Especially
I
when
know
they're
what they wanted.
especially when they're already like drunk and you're already drunk. They're not looking at you going,
Yeah, and how many, let's be honest, how many 19 and 23-year-old men are doing
Take
things
someone
just for
out.
kindness?
yeah. Also,
I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm not saying men
No.
can't be kind. I just mean you're not taking women out for drinks to be kind.
Yeah, in this scenario, you don't do it because
they're
you
not-
feel sorry for them. Like,
Yeah, if they're your mates and they're having a hard time, sure. If they're two random women, what?
also, they were very happily having a girls' night. They wouldn't
Yeah.
have changed their night whether they went back and hooked up with these guys or whether they just went to a bar by themselves. Like, it wouldn't have made their night that they found some men.
And two young Irish women
Yeah.
in a foreign country are probably not going to struggle to find other men.
No. Especially the age they were and
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's all such bullshit.
yeah.
They then claimed that the women had become heavily intoxicated after a few too many drinks, and Hines said that he felt he couldn't leave them in that state.
Oh, what
So
a hero.
he and Blaxton took them back to their hotel in a taxi. Don't know what's wrong with the women's own homes.
Yeah. Or their own, yeah, because they were, I'm assuming, living there because they were university students. They
Yeah.
must have had like student digs or something.
Hines went on to allege that once inside his hotel room, Nicola woke up and became sexually aggressive towards him, demanding rough sex and becoming angry when he refused her advances, which he said he did so as he didn't have a condom with him. So first of all, he wasn't attracted to her. But now it's just not having a condom. And I'm not saying as well that women can't be sexually aggressive towards men.
No,
it happens.
not.
I'm not saying that women don't overstep the mark with men and don't abuse men, but it's just all very victim blaming.
Yes. Obviously, he's trying to clear his name, but
why does he have to muddy hers to do so?
Yeah.
In an effort to stop Nicola shouting, and because she had supposedly asked him to, Hines stated that he pressed her neck for around 30 seconds.
It's starting to get a little bit like, you know, when someone starts to tell a little white lie and then it just spirals. Like unravels because they're like, oh yeah, and this to explain this and this to explain, like, it's like, oh yeah, well, she asked me to, but I also did it to shut her up.
And also pressed her neck. Like if I was trying to shut someone up and I'm drunk and I'm not thinking and it's like all a bit panicky and tensiony, put your hand over the mouth.
Yeah, you don't like push on there.
Please don't ever put your hand over someone's mouth. It's very rude and not nice.
Yeah.
But we all know.
I mean, I would probably do it to my husband.
Yeah. Like, that's surely your first point of call. It's not, oh, I'm just going to press on her neck.
Or ask them.
Yeah.
Will you please be quiet?
But what do we see in every, let's say, horror movie, thriller, even comedies when someone screams? What do people do? Put their hand over their mouth.
Yeah.
They don't tend to lightly press their neck for 30 seconds. Anyway, in court he said, quote, "She was talking loudly at first, but gradually she quietened down. I remember hearing her breathe abnormally." Now, when you start to hear someone breathe abnormally, stop.
Yeah.
Stop whatever you're doing and call an ambulance.
Yeah.
If someone's breathing has changed and they're intoxicated, please get medical attention.
And you can see them in their... I mean, if her breathing's changing, is she losing consciousness? And this is the point where you're thinking, I need help here.
Yeah, you're not...
Carry on.
Now, what the men didn't realise was that in the cab that they took that night with Sarah and Nicola, there was CCTV footage. And this CCTV footage would show their true intent that night and the true events that took place. Whilst in the taxi, Nicola and Sarah were seen indeed passed out like the men had said. Mm-hmm. But the footage showed Blaxton sexually assaulting Sarah while she sat with her head back, completely unconscious. The two men could also be heard speaking to each other, with Hines saying, "These bitches fell into our lap. We can fuck them. We gotta keep them fucked up." Blaxton then replied, "We're going to fuck them and leave them in my room." The two then exchanged fist bumps.
Wow. They sound like delightful people.
The emotions this stirs up in me, because I feel so passionately about slut shaming and obviously about sexual assault, but I just think that obviously things that have come out in the past year, like I class myself as a strong feminist, killjoy, and I have always felt strongly about this, but especially in the last year I feel like it's been amplified. Just hearing men speak about women like this makes me so angry.
It's so...
Anyone, and when you're speaking about other women like this, just any sort of like, oh, what was she wearing? Oh, she was drunk. Oh, she was up for it. Oh, she was a party girl. It doesn't matter. You sexually assaulted someone.
Because you don't know. You. Like, they've obviously spiked these girls' drinks because... I know people do like to get that drunk, but I feel like if you're out with your friends and you see your friend getting that drunk, you tone it back because you're like, shit, I need to look
What's the
them.
likelihood that both of you get that drunk?
Yeah.
Because also you get, like, for example, when people present differently when they're drunk, like you get the people that pass out, you get the people that are sick, you get the people that cry. Right. What's the likelihood that they're both people who pass out?
Yeah. Or they've both like got to that point that quickly because
at the same time.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't really know the timeframes of this, but I'm assuming the Nicki Minaj concert finished quite late, and the fact that they missed their last train home, in my head, I'm like, it's like 11 o'clock when they meet these guys.
I'm going to assume that they were in a fairly central part of well, they were in Tokyo.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume that trains probably ran to about midnight. I could be wrong. I've never been to Japan.
Yeah.
But I'm going to assume it's like most cities, trains run to like midnight-ish.
Yeah.
So
the fact that they missed the last train home and they weren't completely
And then
fucked
obviously
up
she
at
was
this point.
taken to hospital at 3:53.
Yeah. So, and also they were like, no, we don't want to go back to your room. So, which
They
tells
made
me,
a
yeah,
sensible
they made
decision.
Yeah, they made a good decision, which makes me think that, okay, yeah, they might have had a drink, but I feel like it's actually also very, very hard to get really, really, really drunk at a concert when you're like really into it, because you don't want to leave your spot to go to the bar and get a drink.
You can get, I'm angry. I am angry.
Yeah.
Once they arrived back at the hotel, the women were still unconscious. And so, because they were unable to walk,
Oh my God.
Hines and Blaxton actually had to borrow wheelchairs from the hotel and wheel the two women into the lobby.
Okay.
Where two hotel employees then helped carry Nicola to Hines' room and placed her on his bed. Bear in mind, they don't know. They don't know their relationships.
Yeah.
What went on next in that hotel room, only Richard Hines truly knows. However, Dr. Kenichi Yoshida, who carried out the autopsy on Nicola, told the court that her death was caused by suffocation through strangulation, where a ligature was used.
Okay.
You cannot blame that on drugs.
No.
As there was a 5 centimetre wide mark around her neck.
Wow.
Dr. Yoshida put forward that it was likely a soft object, such as a rolled up towel or a piece of clothing, that had been used to strangle the young woman. In support of this, Nicola's DNA was found on both the towel in the hotel room and on Hines's top. I suppose it would be found on Hines's top, to be fair.
Yeah, because...
But I don't know if that means the top he was wearing or like a top in the room.
I mean, even if his story checked out, her DNA would still be on his top.
Yeah, if he's like helping to carry her and
Yeah.
sexually... I mean, I don't think she was sexually assaulted in the cab, but that probably came later. But
Yeah.
her body also bore defensive wounds, like you were speaking about earlier.
Yeah.
Again, you don't tend to defend yourself against drugs and alcohol because they're not physical entities
No.
attacking you.
You also don't tend to defend yourself against someone you have given consent to.
Yes.
So if this was consensual, she wouldn't have fought him
Why
off.
are you defending yourself? With scratches and abrasions consistent with Nicola fighting to remove the ligature from around her neck on her body. Dr. Yoshida stated that her death would have been slow and distressing for her.
Oh, that's
The
horrible.
strangulation likely to have lasted several minutes. And that's the thing about strangulation. It does take a long time and a lot of strength to do.
Yeah.
People assume, and we might have spoken about this before, I can't remember.
Yeah, I think we
But
have.
people
spoken about
assume it's going to be
before.
a
like
easy.
you see in films. You literally strangle them for 30
seconds.
seconds and that's
You press
it.
lightly on their neck for 30 seconds.
No.
No, it's hard to strangle someone. It takes minutes.
Especially
they're
if
aware
they're-
it's happening.
Especially if
and
they're fighting you as well.
And they know
that
they're
about to
dying.
die. Yeah.
They can, yeah.
Yeah. I don't
And-
think many people in that situation would just sit back and be like, yeah, you know what? I'm about to die. Here we go.
I don't want to give any spoilers, but if you've seen Promising Young Woman,
I have.
we watched it together.
Yes, we did.
There is a part of that where someone is strangled, and that is even shortened, but that is an uncomfortably long scene
Yeah.
because that is more true. I mean, they're not strangled, actually, they're suffocated.
Suffocated.
But
But
that-
still very true.
Yeah, and that is still, like I said, shorter than
It would
it would actually be. And yet that is still an uncomfortably long scene
Yeah.
because it takes a fucking while.
Yeah.
And also, it's quite an intimate way to kill someone. Now, bear in mind, this was a ligature, so Hines might have been behind Nicola.
Yeah. But he would still have to be on top of her, like pinning her down. And also, because it takes so long, it's not like an impulse kill. Do you know what I mean?
'Cause you can
it's-
stop.
Yeah, it sounds silly, but if you were like, if you just completely saw red, like obviously this isn't an excuse, but if you completely saw red and you just started punching,
Or you shoot a gun.
yeah,
Or you stab someone,
and
or you hit them.
you kind of, and then like 30 seconds later, you realize what you're doing, and you're like, shit,
And,
and
you
then
stop,
they're already dead, and you stop.
damage might be
This is
done.
going to take five minutes. Did they say roughly?
Yeah, I think it's going to take about 5 minutes, isn't it? Because you pass out after 3 and then for everything.
So you're doing it for 30 seconds, like even like a minute. That is a long time.
I mean, we've all done like a minute silence or like had to do or like a plank for a minute. And how long is that?
feels like hours. to do a
Exactly.
plank. Yeah. But yeah, you're there. It's not easy.
No.
And you will realise what you're doing before.
And it's not something you can do accidentally.
No.
Nicola's blood was also found on Heinz's hotel bedsheet, which he tried to explain away by stating that whilst they were having sex, Nicola had vomited blood and had then wanted to continue having sex after. Now, two things there.
Yeah.
Beforehand, he stated he didn't want to have sex with Nicola and that he hadn't because he didn't have a condom.
Yeah.
So again, his story's changing. Like you said, it's like it's unravelling.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's a lie. And secondly, I don't think it matters how drunk you are. If you vomit blood, you're probably concerned about it.
Yeah. You don't sit there and look at that and think, that looks normal.
Yeah. So
I'm going to carry on.
I've seen vomit. I've seen people vomit blood.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen it, but I've seen it at work.
Yeah.
It's distinctive.
Yes.
You get either you're vomiting up like
fresh blood, bright red,
or it's what we call coffee ground vomit,
which is disgusting.
Which presents like you would think it's like coffee grounds,
but still, it's
you look at that
alarming.
Put it this way, I've never vomited up that colour because I've never vomited up blood.
Yeah.
So you're not likely to, unless you've literally just eaten something that colour and then it comes straight up.
If you just
it's not going to look like that.
Honked down a load of beetroot and then threw it up and it was like purpley red, then you'd be like, okay,
probably
that makes
beetroot.
sense. But yeah, it is. I think it's something that if it happened, you would be like, that's not right. Like, I feel like everyone knows their body.
Yeah, you're not going to want to continue having sex. It might kill them.
No, yeah, just slightly.
Oh, sorry. A third thing. If you're so drunk that you don't care about the fact that you just vomited up blood,
yep,
you are probably too drunk to consent to sex.
Yes.
And a fourth thing. Despite Heinz saying earlier that he didn't have a condom, so didn't want to have sex with her, and then obviously he said he's had sex with her, so, that went out the window. Police later found an unused condom in his jacket pocket.
So he's not a good liar.
Dr. Yoshida did find evidence of internal bleeding during the autopsy. However, no more is said in explanation of that. I don't know if that's an indication of sexual assault.
Okay.
I don't know
it doesn't
if that's
say where the internal
an
bleeding
indication of alcohol consumption, because that obviously affects your stomach.
Yeah.
I don't know. Those are both just theories.
Yeah.
Despite the mounting evidence against their client, Heinz's defence continued to try to paint Nicola as a drug user, which also doesn't mean she deserves to die or be sexually assaulted or anything.
Definitely not.
Stating that this lifestyle was evident from the needle marks on her thighs.
Mm-hmm.
But Dr. Kenta Ada would soon shoot this down, explaining that there were 9 needle marks on Nicola's thighs, as a trainee doctor had tried and failed to get blood from the woman's lifeless body. Which, by the way, even if you're not a trainee doctor, I speak from experience, it can be very hard to get blood from someone whose heart has stopped pumping.
Yeah.
They might have been trying to get an IO line, which is where you basically go into the bone.
Oh, okay.
And then you can give fluid.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it just shows actually that the defence don't really know what they're talking about.
So the needle marks were made after her death? Or after her heart had stopped beating?
Yeah, they were made in hospital. Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't made by her.
No.
Also,
now,
I mean, I don't know much about injecting yourself, but is thigh an unusual place to inject yourself?
So I don't know much about injecting yourself, but from what I do know about drug use, toes...
And between the fingers.
But people do get desperate when they've run out of veins.
True.
However, if she had run out of veins, she would be very far along in her drug addiction.
Yeah. And there would be clear signs between her fingers, between her toes, on her elbows.
I feel like you don't go straight away to thighs because you can't. There's a reason why we don't cannulate thighs.
Yeah, they're not easy. Also, I feel like with everything that's been going on in the news at the minute about people being injected for spiking, surely that's more evidence against him because that's more likely that she's been injected in the leg with whatever.
But then I suppose that is a very new thing, and this is 2012.
Yeah,
because people hadn't reached that yet, I don't think.
Yes. Oh, what an exciting life we lead, hey?
The defence also stated that Nicola's blood test showed that in her system she had lidocaine and Xanax. So Xanax is a benzodiazepine often abused as it can make users feel lightheaded, detached from reality, numb and sexually aroused. I mean, it's used a lot in like the American trap scene.
Okay.
Now, whilst it is true that her bloods did show these two drugs in her system, there's also a simple explanation. Lidocaine gel had been present on the tube used by medical staff to intubate Nicola, and she was actually prescribed Xanax by her doctor in Ireland due to her anxiety surrounding travelling to Japan.
Oh, okay. So she has a good excuse for having both these drugs in her system.
Yes. And also, I don't really think anyone takes lidocaine recreationally. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
it's
not a common street drug.
No, it's normally used for anaesthetic purposes or it's a cardiac drug.
Yeah.
And it's not something you would use for a high with, as far as I know.
Yeah.
And so, with all this evidence against Richard Hines, unsurprisingly, in 2013, he was found guilty of the murder of Nicola Furlong. But Hines was a minor in the eyes of the Japanese legal system at the time that the crime took place. So apparently in Japan, suspects are minors until the age of 20.
Wow, that's quite old.
Yeah.
I mean, like, obviously 20 is not old, but...
No. And therefore, he could only receive a maximum of 10 years for the murder.
Wow.
Whilst the lead prosecutor, Kenji Hirokoshi, told the court that Hines deserved the death penalty, the American musician was instead given the maximum 10 years with labour, with the possibility of release after just 5 years. Hirokoshi stated that Hines had shown no remorse for the murder of Nicola Furlong, and that by trying to portray her as a promiscuous drug user after her death, he had further violated her dignity and tainted her honour, which I agree with.
Yeah.
It's victim blaming, but I just want to say also, being promiscuous and taking drugs, still, that, like, lots of people have sex and take drugs. Like, I don't think taking drugs is a good idea, but it also doesn't make you a bad person.
No, everyone has the right to enjoy their life however they see fit.
Not be
judged,
raped, sexually assaulted and killed.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Yeah.
And can I just say, it really irritates me, and I've said it before, but no matter what state you are in, when someone does sexually assault you or rape you, it is never your fault.
No.
It is because you have met a rapist or someone who sexually assaults people. It is not because you were intoxicated.
It's not because of what you wore.
It's because you met a rapist.
Yeah. And they
would have done it regardless.
They didn't understand the definition of the word no, or
they did and they didn't give a shit. So no. The panel of judges also stated that Nicola's murder was atrocious and vicious, with Hines' story simply being not credible. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Disgustingly, just before his sentencing, Hines reportedly looked at his own parents and smiled and winked at them.
Why?
I don't know, like, surely your parents are going to be like, what?
Yeah.
Even if you're innocent, okay, and that's still not a normal reaction. If I'm
like,
if I ever get charged for murder,
if you're innocent and you get charged, you look at your parents like, oh my god, help! Yeah, you don't like wink at them and laugh. Like,
even if I'm trying to put on a brave face to like not upset my mum, I might like smile and like put my thumbs up, just like
it'll be okay
in like a pathetic attempt.
Yeah, your eyes are still gonna be like,
and I don't mean like smile and put my thumbs up like hey. I mean like I'll be like but yes,
and wink.
Fuck
also,
off.
Surely his parents are gonna be like, what the fuck? Who are you?
Disown.
Yeah.
Richard Hines has gone on to serve his time in Fuchu prison and was denied his early release in 2017 after 5 years, as Japanese officials did not believe that he had been rehabilitated, and thank fuck for that.
Yeah.
Hines was placed on a 5-year program at the prison that aimed to create a sense of remorse for the murder he committed. But officials have stated that his attitude while serving his sentence has only given them a moderate expectation that he will ever be fully rehabilitated. However, his 10-year sentence will be up in November of this year, in 2022.
Wow, that is not far away, actually, when you think of it like that.
No. He will be 29 years old with his whole life ahead of him. I'm 29.
Me too. By then. I don't know why I'm excited about that.
Even though he took away Nicola Furlong's entire future and her life at just 21.
Yeah.
And left her family
horrible.
broken.
That is...
I will say kudos to the Japanese system, not for the whole seeing him as a child and then he only gets 10 years, but for having like a rehabilitation program, because we supposedly have it. America doesn't have anything like that. And if he had committed this crime in America, he might have got locked up and had the key thrown away. So
yeah, he would have been in there for a lot longer. That's mad that he's done that, been found guilty of it, and he's going to be let out this year, and he's the same age as us.
Yeah. And I definitely don't feel like my life's over. I feel like my life is just beginning in many ways.
100%.
Which I'm sure to any like younger listeners will be like, you're 29, your life's just beginning.
You're
trust
old.
me.
You're
Like,
basically 30.
Like, trust me, my teens were full of uncertainty. My 20s have been full of uncertainty. But at 29, I'm finding myself.
Yeah.
Finding and feeling.
Yeah. I feel like my 30th year is going to be my decade.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm with you, girl.
Yeah. I've got another year to like sort my life out a little bit more.
You're going to have a baby.
I know. Oh, something to keep alive. It's not a cat.
Understandably, Nicola's family are outraged at the light sentencing of their beloved daughter's killer. Whilst they recognise that Hines received the maximum sentence for a minor in Japan, they feel that Nicola's life was worth more than 10 years. And yeah, it was.
Definitely. Yeah. Like, she was so young. She hadn't even finished university.
She hadn't even finished her degree.
Yeah.
Andrea Furlong, Nicola's mother, told the Irish Sun newspaper, her killer ended not only her life, but our lives as well. He doesn't deserve to breathe the same air as us.
I agree.
Yeah. But what about James Blaxton?
Oh, yeah.
Remember, he sexually assaulted Sarah while she was passed out?
Yeah.
So he is also disgusting.
Yeah. I'm assuming he's been found guilty of that as well.
For sexually assaulting Sarah, the 23-year-old was sentenced to just 3 years hard labour in prison and is already out, having been released in 2015.
Wow.
After which, he returned to the US to continue his career as a dancer and choreographer. Shockingly, Blaxton not only assaulted Sarah, but also a Brazilian woman in April 2012, just a month before he met Sarah and Nicola. Both Sarah and his other victim have stated that they blacked out after drinking tequila given to them by Blaxton. During the trial for Nicola's murder, the prosecution put forward that it was likely that the women had been drugged by both Hines and Blaxton, which seems to check out.
Yeah.
So yeah, all your suspicions were, unfortunately, correct. Yeah, I mean, 3 years? Are you fucking kidding me?
That's absolutely nothing. I wonder if you looked him up now, whether there's anything else against him, because I can't imagine you sexually assault 2 women, go to prison for 3 years, and then come out in 2015. Like, that's almost 10 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how well his career as a dancer and choreographer are, because I researched this a little while ago. But I imagine that he could very well be doing it. And unfortunately, we know that industries such as show business, if that is the sort of dancing and choreography he's into, often things do go on, but they don't get said because people get told if you do X, Y, Z, you'll be a star, you'll be big, you'll be in my next dance, you'll be in this. So Nicola Furlong's funeral had a huge turnout, with crowds of people surrounding the procession as it made its way through the streets of her hometown. During the service, Father Jim Fitzpatrick said, "The Nicola you all knew and loved had so much ability, so much energy, so much charisma, so much to offer in this life. We grieve also not just for the loss of life, for what might have been." And I'm there with them. I'm so sad by the fact that this young woman had her whole life ahead of her, and she was just about to finish her degree.
Yeah, go back home, be reunited with her family.
She was having a great night out, which she deserved.
Yeah.
And that was all taken away from her because she met a rapist that night and a murderer.
Yeah. I feel really sorry for, is it Sarah, the friend who was with her as well? Because not only did she lose her really good friend, she is also a victim in this.
And this is the thing, he got 3 years, she got a life sentence.
Yeah, that's going to stay with her forever.
Yeah.
Also, it's the what if Like, wouldn't you be scared of absolutely everyone? Like, she, like, not that she got lucky, but that.
I know what you mean. It's
like,
one of those things where, like,
that could have been me, like, in that room with him instead.
Yeah. She
also
by no means got lucky, but it's survivor's guilt.
Yeah. Also, they've got footage of him sexually abusing her in the taxi, but what happened when they got back to the hotel room?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
she had to be wheeled through the lobby.
Yeah, I know you can do like tests to see if you have been raped or whatever, but she doesn't know to what extent.
Well, yeah, and also if she already was sexually assaulted in the taxi, then I don't know how inconclusive those tests would be.
Yeah.
I've never done that test myself. Thank God. And I've never had to do that test on someone because that has never been my role as a nurse.
Yeah.
But I also think it's police who do it.
Tests. Yeah. I think it is a medical professional, but within the police. Yeah.
So yeah, that is the case of the heartbreaking case that I can't decide if I want to cry or shout.
I know. It's very roller coaster of emotions from like anger
if I
to...
got hold of these men, I would probably also be locked up because I
mean, bide your time. We're in April and they're out in November, so you know you could.
These type of men. I just hate the whole. I know this is my third time talking about it, but I hate the victim blaming because you deserve to be young and have sex and get drunk, and if you want to do drugs, you shouldn't have to police your behavior because someone else is a piece of shit.
Yeah. I think that's the most frustrating thing about this case is that the stories he tried to tell in court just to make her look bad.
I'm happy they didn't fall for it. But how many times have we heard people get lighter sentences or have we seen women's names dragged through the mud also, or rapists have been let off because, she was drunk. I mean, there was that case actually that I think was in Ireland 2 or 3 years ago, and it caused people to post pictures of their knickers online, and I was someone who did, because the judge said that the woman had obviously consented to sex that night because she went out wearing a thong. Now, I wear thongs sometimes.
I'm wearing a thong right now.
Actually, so am I. You know what? I don't want sex. No. I just didn't do any washing, and it was the only underwear left.
Nude, seamless thong because I'm wearing a pair of leggings, and it's if I don't wear a nude seamless thong, you can see my pants.
And you know what? Even if you do go out wanting sex that night, that does not mean you've consented to sex with anyone.
Oh, yeah, literally. It's so frustrating that I think the hardest thing as well is that he dragged that out so long for that family. Like, they then had to listen to all of this evidence of what he did. Yeah.
With the knickers.
Oh, well, just all of them.
Oh, yeah.
So if they deny it, then they've got to go through. So they're like, so this happened to your daughter and then this happened.
Yeah, not only are you a rapist, but you're also causing... Not only was your daughter raped, but then you have to listen to her being dragged through the mud. And same goes for when men are raped.
Oh, yeah.
And when non-binary people are raped and gender fluid people. Just when people are raped, it's a horrible thing.
Yeah.
That affects not just them, but their family. And then for them to have to go through a trial and have to relive it, have to give evidence, and also have their name dragged through the mud because for whatever reason it will be their fault according to the defence, which is them doing their job. I understand that. But...
Yeah. Just for it to all come out that it was a lie. Whereas if they just turned around and went, yeah, I did it.
Save all the heartache.
Yeah.
And you know what? You might have got a light sentence. I mean, 10 years is pretty fucking light, but...
Yeah, it's not... 10 years and 3 years. It's absolutely nothing.
So before our heads explode, I think we should leave it there.
Let's leave it there.
Thank you so much for listening, guys.
Yeah, as always, please come back next week.
Look after yourselves and stay spooky. Hey guys, if you have a ghost story or a case suggestion, please email us truecrimecovinpod@gmail.com.
You can also find us on Twitter @TrueCrimeCovin or on Instagram and Facebook where we are @TrueCrimeCovinPod.
Also, it would mean the absolute world to us if you could rate us wherever you're listening to this right now, be it Spotify, Apple Music, or if you're on YouTube, give us a little thumbs up, click that bell, get notifications every time we post.
Subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts from.
Make these two witches smile.
Thanks, witches!